violence isn't the funny bit.
What is the funny bit, David?
Honk honk. Funny noise, funny organs.
Welcome to Dr. Loomis, and today we'll be reviewing the much anticipated and critically maligned Brent, Life on the Road. Now, reaction from critics towards this movie has been quite hostile. Empire magazine gave it a paltry 2 stars, and The Guardian called it a patchy comedy that lacked discipline. Now, I for one was pleased by the negative reaction that the film received, since the original series, released in 2001, was equally underappreciated and dismissed by critics. In fact, on initial release, Series 1 of The Office received the lowest audience approval score of any programme in the history of BBC Two, apart from Women's Bowls. However, as time went on, audiences warmed to the documentary-style comedy of awkwardness that was The Office, and they warmed to the character of Brent. Eventually, the show received the recognition it deserved. It became the first UK comedy in 25 years to be nominated for a Golden Globe, and also the first to actually win one. If you then fast forward 9 years, Ricky Gervais wasn't just attending the Golden Globes, he was hosting them. And I predict a similar fate for Brent, Life on the Road, because the movie really is an absolute gem of a film that has been misunderstood upon initial release. I don't believe it will win over many converts to Ricky Gervais and his style of comedy. However, those who enjoyed the original UK series will get a great deal out of the film. You're probably already aware that the movie follows socially awkward musical wannabe David Brent as he leads a bid for stardom by self-funding a music tour in and around the Slough area. Anyone who was moved by David tearing up and begging for his job in the final episode of Series 2 is in for a cavalcade of pleasures here, as Brent's Life on the Road is an absolute love letter to the original series of The Office, with subtle references throughout, as well as direct quotes making its way into the film. Yes, phrases such as leg mental or head mental, 70 mile an hour and willy-nilly all get a look in here. The piece walks a very, very fine line between bittersweet. David reveals early on in the movie that he suffered a nervous breakdown since the end of the original Office documentary. He's revealed as still being single, and now that he's no longer boss, he doesn't even have the limited respect he was able to command over his co-workers at Wernham Hogg. I have to warn you that the film does tug at the heartstrings consistently. Brent appears to be mostly bullied or dismissed by his work colleagues. His boss virtually calls him a pathetic grown-up child in the first 10 minutes of the film. And very early on it becomes apparent that David's band, Foregone Conclusion, think of him as nothing more than a middle-aged joke. It is a comedy of the socially awkward and an ode to misunderstood underdogs everywhere. There's not just bittersweetness though, there are a lot of laughs to be had. I feel that this is a film very similar to Alpha Papa, where the rewards will come from repeated viewings. The final 5 minutes of the movie are particularly emotional. When I was in the cinema watching this, the woman sat next to me was in floods of tears. However, the literal final shot shows that there is a glimpse of possible salvation for the Brent Meister General, which leaves you feeling uplifted and happy despite the ordeal that Brent really does go throughout the narrative. A lot of critics have said that there are too many jokes at the expense of the overweight, too many jokes about race, too many jokes about growing old or the disabled. In defence of Ricky Gervais, that is the role of a comic, to walk that fine line between what is acceptable and what can be challenged, and I feel he does this really, really well, in the same way that a lot of people seem to be unhappy with Ricky Gervais and the way he handles the Golden Globes. However, they do keep asking him back because his material pushes the boundaries, and that is what a good comedian is supposed to do. It was a shame that there are 0 cameos from any of the talented players that appeared in the original series of The Office, and it's a shame because if you look back at the original series, that really was a breeding ground for successful actors, most notable being Martin Freeman, Tim from The Office, going on to be the Hobbit in the Hobbit trilogy, and also he's recently just made it into the Marvel universe himself. Now, apparently conflicting schedules meant that Ricky Gervais's longtime collaborator Stephen Merchant was not present throughout the project, and it's possible that I do think Stephen Merchant is able to temper a lot of Ricky Gervais's material. It would have been great to see them working on this project together. However, Ricky Gervais is David Brent. It's his character, and I believe he knows what is best. Somebody that I saw the film with said that they resented Ricky Gervais for putting Brent through the emotional ringer throughout the film. It is not an easy watch. It has a lot of difficult things to say about friendship, about people, and about who we are. But ultimately, the message seems to be you have to try. If you want something, you have to work hard for it. So really, it does raise a lot of questions that you won't see in your usual knockabout comedy. It's a thoughtful film, it's a very funny film, it's a heartfelt film, and I can wholeheartedly recommend it. Until next time, this is Dr. Loomis, signing off. What did you think of David Brent, Life on the Road? Did you feel it was a fitting swan song for the Brent character, or has Ricky Gervais pushed his luck a little bit too far with revisiting the character that made him famous? Let us know in the comments section. Please like, please subscribe. Until next time.